Hi, this is Ren,
This is Casey.
and this is All Walks of Film. But today we're actually talking about a film that we're making. I know we talk a lot
Yay!
about films, but we actually make films as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what we are doing essentially is telling you a little bit about the film that we're working on to try and maybe persuade you to give us a little money or just make it public for recognition or something. We're not asking for.
Yeah, if you want to support us, just find us on Facebook and give us $1, give us a share. You know,
Yeah.
one or the other is good. They're both good.
Yeah, and $1 is fine. You know, I know the economy is tough right now, and yeah, I mean we're college students, so
Yeah.
it's tough. So and also like if you like what we do, consider giving us money so that we can continue doing that. Even though the money's going to go to the film, it would be nice so that when times are tight, especially, we can still produce podcasts. And I will say, until this film gets done, pretty much all the podcasts are going to be focused towards the film that we're making because it's very important to us.
Either that or we see something that we just have to talk about right now.
Yeah.
Which could very easily happen.
Yeah, it could totally happen. Yeah, so starting off, I wrote a story.
Yes, Mr. Director, tell us all about your film.
Oh, I see how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so starting off, I worked on a script this summer about two scientists that create this clay creature out of a lab. And that concept kind of changed, but the overall core of the story stayed the same. I wanted to make a dark comedy creature feature that didn't have boring scientists. Because, like, I will say that, like, most monster movies, especially monster movies that have, like, a scientist or, like, created in the lab, most of the times the scientists are boring as shit. I mean, that's just my take on it. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's a little silly for you to say, considering that one of the movies that made both of our top favorite movies of all time is The Fly, which is basically everything that you're describing right now.
Yeah. Well, I said most.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, every once in a while you have interesting scientists. Obviously, Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And but I will say that like a lot of my inspiration for this film that I'm working on right now is Splice, and the scientists in that movie were really boring.
Yeah, but that was not like even the biggest problem with that movie. I mean, I can't believe you just told all of our viewers that one of your inspirations is Splice. Even if it's like an inspiration for what not to do, you just told all of them. Oh yeah, well my movie's inspired by Splice. Yeah, you know the one with the girl who's created in the lab, and then she fucks her dad, and then she turns into a dude, and she rapes her mom, and the mom gets pregnant with their weird mutant freak baby. Yeah, and the chick grows wings. That happened. Yeah, that's what my movie's based on. Please donate to my Indiegogo, guys.
Did you totally just troll my fucking thing? Like where can I come from? Like, seriously? I can't believe you.
Okay.
This woman totally trolled our thing. We're ruined now.
Okay, you guys. That's not true. I was just having a joke. That's all. I was just having a joke.
It's fine.
We're not making a short. No. It was just we're not making a short film of Splice. That is the exact opposite of what we're doing, is what he was trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, but I think sometimes it's good to see a concept that you find interesting. Like, you watch something and you're like, wow, that's really interesting.
But it sucks.
Yeah, but it sucks. So the basis of the story is two scientists are working inside a lab. Since budgets have been cut, it's a makeshift lab. And
in the context of the story, not
yeah, in the context of the story, it's a makeshift lab. And I won't lie, part of the reason why I made it a makeshift lab is because I'm a college student. I can't get access to a lab. And plus,
it looks boring.
Yeah, it does.
Labs look kind of boring if, you don't have the money to make it really stylized.
Right. And one thing that we're going to do is we're going to stylize the lab. We're going to stylize the color palette because I find the color palettes in, specific lab science fiction movies to be very limited. White.
More white. Really bright white.
Yeah.
White.
Either that or it's, really white and then it's just,
and going back to The Fly.
Like a blue color.
Right, and going back to The Fly, the lab in that looked really cool because it was a makeshift lab. It was this freaking house.
Yeah.
And by the way, you guys, the reason why I'm sitting around trolling this dude's ass is because he's the director, I'm the production designer. We're both involved in the movie.
Yeah, why don't you tell them what you're doing?
What am I doing? Oh, people really care about production design when they can't see it.
Well... Let them in because a lot of what you do is going to be what comes out, and that's why we need the money so that it looks good.
That's very true. You finish your thing and we'll get back to me because they're not really going to care unless they know what it's about. Because so far they've got two people. There's a lab. What next?
Two people in a lab. They create this monster by accident, and I literally do mean by accident. It's
like penicillin,
sort of, yeah, like penicillin, except
or steroids.
More like steroids, a little bit less than penicillin. But they create a monster in the lab by accident, sort of like the scene in the cut scene in The Fly.
You mean the one that made me cry? You mean that one?
Yeah.
Fuck Cronenberg so hard up his ass. He cut the best part of the whole fucking movie. I hate that guy.
He also had to make a shitty ending.
I love him.
He also had to make a shitty ending.
No. That shit was brilliant. That shit was brilliant. He has my utmost respect for fucking trolling the Hollywood studios and getting them to get their heads out of their asses and fuck up endings just because, audiences won't get it. Little Shop of Horror style.
Yeah, part of this is Little Shop of Horrors.
Because as much as you want to reel about how much you don't like that movie, you totally like that movie.
I like the concept.
Big liar.
I like the concept.
It's a kaiju movie.
If you watch the director's cut of it,
which you saw the original ending, so you knew.
Yeah, but
even so, you're like, but I don't like musicals. Even though I totally love musicals, I just don't like Grease. So therefore, I don't like musicals. And it's like, shut up.
All right, so my film is not a musical. My film is not a musical, and I did read the script, and it definitely teeters the line between serious drama,
very
horror
funny.
Elements, but
very funny. Every time I read your scripts, that was one thing. As much as you like to say, I don't really write humor. You write humor very, very well, mostly because it's not cheesy. You don't write cheesy humor. You don't write crap humor, but it's good.
Well, my goal isn't to make people laugh. I think that might be one part, it's like if things are funny, they're funny, but I can have jabs at each other because that's kind of how my friends and I work, we make fun of each other. We fuck around with each other. Not like that, but
dude, you said it, I didn't.
Yeah, but we joke, and sometimes our jokes are rude and crude, and there's a little bit of rude, crude jokes in this film. Most of the story is centered around a woman named Shelley, who is kind of down on her luck, mainly because she's having to take a job that really doesn't extend to her ability. Like, she's a lot more capable than the job that she takes, but she has to take a job.
Mm-hmm.
And she works with a guy named Seth. Obviously, the name of Seth is inspired by Seth Brundlefly. But I thought I'd throw that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Seth's a really interesting character because he essentially is the type of person that's really smart, but he treats his job like it doesn't really matter that much just because he feels that he's above it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I really wanted to focus on in the script writing process was to make characters that felt a little bit more natural and less forced. And I've made revisions trying to make my characters as believable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I will admit, this is a short film, so I had to cram a whole bunch into just a small bit. So a lot of it has to lean on dialogue hints and things in the production design that offer fills into the story that we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you explain a little bit of what you're doing to add in those gaps and why we need the money to use for those gaps?
Well, to be fair, the money isn't just going to, let's see what Casey can do, yada yada. A lot of it is going towards very mundane, practical things. Like, we need to feed the people who work for us. We need to give them transportation. We need to rent equipment, and we need to, all this stuff. Part of it is we would like to do some promotional work. We would really like to be able to, have DVDs of this. We would like to be able to have, autographed copies. We'd like to be able to put bonus features that come with the movie, that sort of thing, for people who donate to our Indiegogo. So it's not just like, donate to us and you can watch it on Vimeo or something. You get something nice out of it.
Yeah, and we're really trying to have this community.
Mm-hmm.
I oftentimes find, especially with bigger productions, they just can't be as close to a community with people, but that's what we want to have with you. I mean, we want your feedback and input to make this film great.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know, if I saw Torn, which is up on YouTube for free, I would want a DVD of the next thing you made. Just saying.
Yeah,
That's me. Obviously, I agree with your certain film aesthetic and sensibility, but
Torn was the very first film that I did, and it was the very
and this
first...
will be the very second one that you do. The very second one.
No, because I've had one more, too.
Between? Which one?
I did a studio shoot.
Oh, yeah, Mel and Lee.
Yeah.
That one.
I did a studio shoot, and
that wasn't your baby, though.
Right.
But Torn was your firstborn, and this is your secondborn, and Mel and Lee
I've matured. I've matured a lot from Torn, though, because I can pick apart that movie and see all the parts that I could have done better on.
Well, of course, it was your first.
Yeah.
It's like when you're making out with a chick for the first time, and then you think about it later, and you're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that." But this part was nice.
But I just want to tell the audience that this is a bigger production. There are more people involved.
It is, exactly. It's definitely more involved, because Torn was a very small production that came in
6
entirely.
People.
Yeah, tiny crew, barely any actors, almost no prep time. And all the money for it came right out of your pocket. You fed everybody with Papa John's pizza. Let's not subject our... your money will go directly towards not subjecting the crew to Papa John's pizza.
Yeah. I also got you guys Chinese food and stuff like that. I feed my crew well, but
yeah, you do.
It does cost money.
But my point is that the crew was so small that you could feed them with Papa John's pizza.
And I also want to let you guys know that just in case you're worried, or just in case I can only give this much money, and will this movie be made? This movie will totally be made. It's just how much money is going to have to come out of my pocket to make it work versus, maybe you guys could give me $1 if you like one of the videos that we made. Because that's good enough for me. I mean, if you like one of our videos, just be like, oh, we like what you do. Continue to do that. Because we'll get back to the videos. It's just like right now in the semester that we have, it's really tough. So most of the stuff we're going to be doing is audio podcasts because we just don't have the time.
Right, because you, Ren, are taking a very demanding directing class. You're going to school full time. You just finished a shoot. You're revving up, like you're prepping up for this upcoming shoot. I mean, that's a pretty full schedule right there. I'm also taking classes full time and working and being PD for your film and being PD for another film and being costume designer for another film. I mean, we're up to our noses.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. Obviously, I have to be the manager of everything, and while we do have some assistance with that, we're working with students for the most part, so their schedules are busy as well. So trying to balance time and all that kind of stuff. If you're ever considering going to film school, yeah, it's going to be difficult. But I really have a passion for it. And, if you're going to film school, you have to have the passion. Otherwise, it's going to eat you alive. But I absolutely love it. And this is my career choice.
Yeah. And this is your passion project. This isn't your, I'm cranking it out for class. And it's just like, I don't really like it that much, but I'm just trying to do well. And just so I can pass, and yeah, maybe, I don't know. It's not as if you don't spend most of every waking moment thinking about this project. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do.
I do think a lot about this film.
Yeah.
So, going on to that, what are your biggest concerns about the project?
The biggest concerns, I mean, just making sure pre-production goes smoothly, because pre-production never goes smoothly. You can basically just aim for as smooth as possible, but it never goes smoothly. There's always problems. But it's good, because you sort it on pre-production, and then production, you have better chances of smooth. The one-day shoot is kind of a loop. We have 1 day to shoot everything.
We are trying to cheat.
You were very smart. You were very smart when you wrote specifically for a 1 day shoot to have one scene in one location during one time slot. It in real time in the movie. It's what 3 minutes, like 5 minutes maybe.
Oh, in real time, there's a little bit of passage of time before the creature is made, just because
one costume, one location,
right.
2 people, and it doesn't change. That was pretty smart planning, considering the fact that it was going to be a 1 day shoot.
Right, and idealistically and realistically, I would make the creature take time to actually come to life, but unfortunately, we don't have the resources or the time to do that. And I mean, crowdfunding is great, but you can't rely on crowdfunding.
Right, just in case.
Yeah, because, it's tough, and we're up-and-comers. We're just starting. So what you would be doing is possibly funding somebody who could be somebody, which I would like to be somebody someday. That's my goal. I'd like to be somebody. I'd like to make something
Tegan.
good. Tegan?
It's a Tegan and Sarah song.
Okay.
Mark my words, I might be something someday.
Yeah, but I really like to make sure that the projects that I work on are good for everyone's resume, not just myself. I'm not a narcissistic director. I really value what other people do in my films, especially the actors that I work with, because I think that films oftentimes are nothing if it's not for their actors. Actors are the backbone of the film.
Right, and right now we're actually in the midst of callbacks and chemistry tests, so we're getting pretty close to selecting who's going to be, the faces of the movie.
So I feel really good about that. We have some really strong contenders.
Mm-hmm.
So that should go really smoothly.
Yeah, definitely not to be mean to anybody, but run-of-the-mill student actor types. In terms of performance, I don't mean anything against somebody for their personality. I mean, performance-wise, they're definitely exceeding. We're not making do with somebody just because. We're actually having a really hard time picking somebody because the people in callbacks are so good.
Well, and not to toot my horn too much, but I have worked with people with less experience, and those kind of people will work. They just take time, and right now we don't have a lot of time, but as far as like blocking and stuff goes, it should be really fun to work with people who have experience, which these people have, which I'm really excited about. Mm-hmm. So we are going to give you a link in the description below for our Indiegogo project. Probably if you look on the top right-hand corner, you can also see that description. Mm-hmm. If you, however, are listening to this on your iPod or Android or
other mobile device.
Yeah, other mobile device, or if you're listening to this on Podbean or wherever, because sometimes those websites kind of pass things around and stuff. Just go on to Indiegogo.com and look up Accidental Gods.
Right now, where we're at is we've done a lot of the conceptualizing, and right now we're in the phase of pre-production that we're moving in. We're getting the actors on board. We're scouring around trying to find the right place that we can actually get a hold of. We definitely will have to rent, but we have a few options that we're looking at, comparing, seeing what works best. We're starting in on creating the creature, putting together set pieces, props, costumes, all that stuff. So we're definitely in the let's go phase, which is, let's face it, a lot more exciting than sitting around trying to, what about this idea? I mean, that part's fun, but the actual doing is more fun, and that's really where we're at. Just making things happen. And we've got a pretty kick-ass crew right now at the moment. The art department is me. We have an AD. We have a props master / puppet creator, which is going well. We have actually somebody who's just working on concept art, which is really cool. We have
his concept for the creature is really awesome.
Yeah. We've got, and then in the pre-production side, we've got line producer, we've got storyboard artist, obviously we have a director. We just hired on an AD who's been doing some kick butt work right now. We also have set designer, we've got makeup artist. I mean, we're getting our crew together pretty well. We have a couple things we still need in the pre-production crew, but overall things are like actually functioning and moving maybe a lot better than you'd expect from a student film, especially because this semester we're having a hard time at our school where there's so many productions and not enough people. Every production's having a hard time getting people of any position, really.
Right. Yeah, it's really slim, and I don't know what your conceptions of film school are, but they don't really provide much for you. Mm-hmm. A lot of film school is really trying to find up with the figure out these things on your own, which is great learning material, but it also isn't what it would be like in
We're like not asking you to help us when everything is being handed to us anyway.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm to be honest with you, I am getting most of my funding from my parents. Mm-hmm. And that's it, you know. So a little bit would help. Otherwise, just do what Kevin Smith does, and go a little
bankrupt.
Well, maybe
ruin
not
your
bankrupt.
Credit. You'll get paid back later once it becomes a big cult success.
No, our asking price is really not that high. We're asking for $1,000.
Yeah.
And I won't lie. It's going to cost a little bit more than that because we have to pay for food and stuff. So.
But it would still help phenomenally.
Yeah, even $1. Yeah. Even $1, that shows that you care that much. Mm-hmm. Which would be wonderful. We would thank you so much.
Yeah.
For just a measly $1. All right. So, if you have any questions, please leave comments below. If you want to see production concepts and all that kind of stuff, we'll put that stuff up. We'll try to be as open as you want us to be.
And just real quick to plug myself in our plug for yourself. Next week, I'm actually going to be in a debate of Fury Road, and it will be filmed and will be put up here on our podcast. So just look for that, because that'll be some fun times. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it'll be fun times. Though I do gotta say, I don't know what the rules are gonna be, because we're on the pro side and we got somebody against us, and you can probably look in our descriptions of other stuff that we've talked about. So
with Fury Road, about how, well, I don't know. If you look at our podcast of Fury Road or look at our comments, I think we did pretty good to hold up and debate.
Yeah, I think we got it. So yeah, coming next Monday at the latest. It should come a little bit earlier, but like, if
nice Halloween surprise.
A nice Halloween surprise. You will get a Mad Max debate. So let us know what you think of our podcast in general, our video podcast, and also support our film, of course, Accidental Gods.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.